Good morning, good evening, good day, good night, wherever you are in the world. I am Tim, back once again for the Speed Force Racing GP2 Series French Grand Prix. With me is my co-commentator, as always, and you had to deal with just him and a new guy, Tom, last week, but I'm back this week. Mansell, how are you doing? And tell me, how was Tom last week? We know that we all love Tom. How was he?
Yep, he was a great lead commentator. He was actually leading last week. Yeah, he was good. Thank you for stepping in, Tom, for Tim last week. I really appreciate it. But yeah, thank you very much, Tom. And of course, because you were here last week, Tim, I will kind of, if I can remember what happened last week. X Gamer won last week. He's now moved up to second in the championship. He won his own Grand Prix. Rogue Smithy crashed out once again, unfortunately. Still hasn't finished the race this season. Hopefully that look changes him today. And then, yeah, and it was a wet race. That's pretty much all I can remember. My memory's not great, to be fair. But yeah, we're here for the French Grand Prix now, and let's see what these guys can do.
So is it safe to say you've slept since then, Mansell? You just can't quite recall that any more than that?
Yeah, exactly that, mate. My memory is terrible. I can't even remember what I had for tea last night. So,
well, did you have pleasant dreams?
It's terrible. Yes, I did. Thank God. All I remember, it was a very good race to watch. But of course, because it was wet, there wasn't much overtaking, but it was still quite an enjoyable race to watch.
So just waiting for the first driver to blink here to go out into qualifying for the French Grand Prix. And of course, Mansell, we were talking a little bit just before the stream, and you had a few predictions that maybe I didn't like to hear, and maybe these drivers won't like to hear.
Well, I would really like Rogue Smithy to finish today. He's also said, he said this last week, but he's saying it again this week. If he doesn't finish, he's going to give £20 to everyone in GP2. I'm pretty sure that also involves the commentators. I don't know how much that is in dollars, Tim, but yeah, expect some money to your account soon. Yeah, that's one of the predictions. I'm not going to say the rest.
Can you just mail me a paper currency instead of transferring it? Because I actually do kind of want to see what your paper currency looks like. I'll hang it up on the wall. It's like, look, I do have friends. They're just British. They just live overseas. I don't get to hang out with them as much as I'd like to, but I do have friends. Oh, that sounded so pitiful. Can we just go and talk about qualifying now?
Yes, now it was 2 minutes is gone. We still haven't really got underway with qualifying, but we have on track, of course. We've got two guys making their GP2 debut today of Elixir Turek. He is, of course, we know him in SFR already, as he has been in GP1 for the past season. He just can't make Thursday anymore, so he's come down to GP2. So expect him around midfield pace, and then also the other brand new driver is also full-time as well, is in the Alpine, I think. Yes, he is in the Alpine of Toin Coin. I think he is from the Netherlands. So welcome Toin Coin, welcome to SFR, and I hope you enjoy your stay here with us.
Toin Coin's got to probably be one of my favorite names that I've ever had the chance to read out. So I really hope that we see him in some intense battles today, just to see if I can say it. I'm very excited for Toin Coin's debut today, as we actually watch SFR Morris, who was the first driver to blink for his flying lap, so we're right on board with him and see what he's able to do. And Mansell, should we even say what we say every single week, that we're still waiting on Morris to get the results that we know he's capable of? Or at this point, should we just let the man have a break?
I think at this stage, I think we know where he is. I think he knows that he's no longer really top field pace anymore. Likes of X Gamer and Jonas and Train Game well. I don't think he's as quick as them. But with him, really, he's just he just needs to stay consistent, and that's what he's doing at the moment. He's had 2 good results the last 2 weeks. He's got a P6 and a P5, so he'll definitely take that. But yeah, he's got to at least finish on a podium once this season for him. I think it'll be a very strong season for him if he just gets that one podium finish this season.
Morris goes on 129.369, setting the bar to beat for every other driver out there. You were talking about the point standings, though, and what an interesting points battle it is turning into after just 7 rounds. Of course, today, the 8th round of the championship, as we're watching to Jonas, our points leader at the moment. Now, he hasn't validated his lap, so he's going to have to try again, but he has got 91 points over last week's winner of X Gamer with 84 points. So that's a 7-point difference, I believe, if I'm doing my math correctly, and X Gamer has missed almost half of the races, while Jonas has only missed 2. So it's still a very close points battle despite their absences. Of course, Train Game Wow in 3rd with 72 points, Tom GoPro in 4th with 68, and then 58 belonging to Langfell in 5th. So the top 5 drivers, actually the top 6 drivers, with Son of Fubar with 51 points, all have an opportunity today to overtake the driver ahead of them in points. So even though there is that 40-point gap from 1st all the way to 6th, they still at least have an opportunity to improve, and that is what we like to see. These are the tight points battles that we are just itching for in SFR.
Yeah, yes, I know it's still early days, but of course we've got 3 guys on 2 wins and then Kara on 1 win. So it's hard to predict still who's going to actually pull away from this championship, and that's what we like. We don't really like anyone pulling away. They like different race winners each week, and yeah, the way it's going is going that way at the moment. So it's nice to see that.
So taking a look at Toin Coin in the Alpine, this will be his very first qualifying lap in the GP2 series, so let's hope for his sake that it's a good one. He can start his season off on a high note. Morris is still on pole with a 129.369. X-Gamer goes to second, a 129.462. Last week's winner cannot beat Morris, at least not on his first lap. Mauser, Morris's teammate, in 3rd with a 130.041. Langfell in 4th, and Elixir Tarek in the 5th position. That is your top 5 running in the qualifying standings at the moment, as we still watch Toin Coin to see where he is going to end up at the end of this flying lap. Just over 11.5 minutes remaining, so these drivers still have plenty of time, and that's plenty of time for this track to rubber up, and I suspect that we're going to see a lot quicker times, maybe flirting with 127s. What do you think, Nancy?
Okay, pole. He goes 3rd, so that's a very good lap from Toin Coin, 29.5 from Toin Coin. And what was the question, Tim? Sorry, I was too concentrated on what Toin Coin was going to say.
Once this track rubbers up, do you think we're going to be flirting with the 127 lap times?
Yes, 100%. I think these guys are definitely capable to get into those 127s. I know the pole lap in GP3 last night was around about 120. I think it was a 129, but that's because we had a wet qualifying session and it dried just right at the end. So yeah, I think we are going to get into the 127s by the end of the session.
So just watching to Jonas and his Alpine, he's on his outlap now, just entering the 2nd sector, so we will come back to him in just a moment. But, just realized, Alpine, this is the home Grand Prix for that team. So it's going to be a little bit of pressure, I'd say, on both Jonas and Toin Coin for them to perform today, simply because they're probably thinking in the back of their mind, well, I am driving the Alpine, I might as well win the French Grand Prix, right? It makes sense to me. It's perfect logic.
They're also leading the constructors at the moment as well on 133. So you probably expect a lot more French fans out here today. Just because they are leading the way in the constructors as well.
And speaking of fans, of course, welcome to everyone watching the stream live on our SFR YouTube channel. Why don't you drop a comment, tell us where you're watching from. What time is it there? What's the weather like? How have you been today? Was it a good day? Was it a bad day? Do you even care, or are you just hanging out? We love to hear from our fans. We love to hear from our viewers. And of course, a lot of our viewers are race engineers for drivers that are racing, or just drivers that race in other divisions. But sometimes we do have new viewers as well. So if you're a new viewer, let us know. We can explain anything that you may not be aware of or just a little unsure about.
Yep. So we've got Mauser just about to start a lap. Is there anyone on a lap?
Actually, taking a look at Ivan in the Alpha Tower. He's on a lap.
I've Mad G say that he's dark, cold, and wet.
Well, you must be from the UK.
Yes. And it's, at the moment, it's not wet where I am at the moment, but it's very cloudy, as it's just starting to get dark now as our clocks have now changed. So we have more daytime now, which is pretty good. I do like daytime more than darkness. It makes the world a happier place, I think.
Yeah, Odd Ivan, he goes to a 1:29.796, good enough for 4th place. And, you know, it's actually hot where I'm living right now over here in America. In my region, it was actually 74 degrees today. That is in Fahrenheit, of course. And, you know, that's maybe not as hot to most people, but to me, that is scorching. I was sitting outside, and I definitely had to change from a long-sleeve shirt to a t-shirt just simply because I was in the sun, and it was just burning up. Even my dog decided to go inside. He had enough of it.
Yeah, it was warm for us last week, but now it's gone back to cold again this week. Yeah, it is coming spring now. But Mauser, he's on a lap. He's currently 4/10 off on a sector 2 time. He's going through the final corner now. Mauser should improve if he had a good sector 3. I just caught him right at the end of this lap. I think he will improve. Which he does by 6/10, and this is now a Haas 1-2. As Morris is also on a lap, he's about a 10th down on his time. He's gone through the final corner again, opens the DRS. Can he improve on his lap? That is a yes, by just under a 10th of a second. But yeah, Haas looking really strong at the moment, 1 and 2 at the moment for them.
So good job to Morris and Mauser going to 1 and 2. Of course, Morris, he has stayed there the entire session, while Mauser, he has found his way up there just behind his teammate. There for a moment, they were separated by just a few hundredths of a second, and even now it's very close, just about a 10th of a second separating those two drivers. As we'll go ahead and take a look at TNR Frederick, he should be on an outlap here. So Frederick in the Aston Martin, so far good enough for 6th place, a 1:30.008, trying to get a little bit of slipstream off the McLaren ahead of him. Not sure if that is Tom Goproff or Son of Fubar. That is Tom Goproff. Son of Fubar is in the pits at the moment. So Tom Goproff, a 1:30.153, good enough for 11th at the moment. Of course, he is on a lap as well. We'll go ahead and take a look at him, but he has invalidated. So
yeah, I was looking at X Gamer the whole lap, and he was about 10th and a half up. It might have been the pole lap, but yeah, he invalidated on that fast right-hander. So that's unfortunate for X Gamer, but I think he should still have a time to do another lap. He should have some time.
Still P3 for X Gamer though, a 1:29.462. So definitely not too shabby at the moment. Toin Coin, of course, in 4th, and Odd Ivan in the 5th position. And you're watching Langfell in the Aston Martin. Let's see what he's able to do. He's in the 3rd and final sector. Just a couple of corners to go. In just under 6 minutes remaining in the qualifying session. Mansell, do you have any predictions of who's going to get this pole? I'm starting to think that Haas is a little bit stronger than maybe we gave him credit for.
Yeah. I'm going to give it to X Gamer. I think X Gamer will get it. Just because of that lap just before he invalidated. It was looking very good, so if he can match that, well, I think he could probably better it just because you get more confidence as you do more laps in qualifying. So I think he can improve and just snatch that pole lap right at the end.
So taking a look at the Red Bull of Yeast now, otherwise known as Macaulay, his best lap time, a 1:30.014. So that's good enough for the 9th position so far.
Sorry Tim, you know what I just noticed?
What's that?
Strategy around here is normally a medium-hard strategy, but if you have a look, everyone is on softs. So maybe, again, we're going to get rain for the start of this race, just like we did in GP4 and GP3. Yeah, so potential rain at the start of this race.
And that is, of course, what you predicted. So we'll see if you are correct. And looks like we had a driver mess up in turn 2, spun and crashed, looking strong and possibly improved 4/10. So unfortunately for them there, but hopefully we can get a little insight on the weather. That is one huge complaint that I have, is that commentators
and there
do not
is
have
rain.
access
I
to
was
the weather.
right.
Okay, there
someone
is
in
rain.
the comments has someone in the comments, Caretta, has just said there is rain. So I don't know if it's the whole race or partial of the race, but we'll see. So I was right on that prediction.
That was some good detective work on your part, though,
Oh,
Mansell.
it was,
Is
yeah.
just noticing that, you know, with everyone being on the soft tire, that you just, you know, you it stood to reason
Yeah.
for you that, hey, it might rain. And that just goes to show why you've been a race engineer.
Oh, yeah. I was the race engineer for Morris and Timo last season. So yeah, I do have that racing engineering skills, I would say, just because of racing engineering Morris and Timo last season in the Mercedes they were.
So they say that they're surprised that you noticed, but, you know, we have to do something when the drivers don't tell us what the weather's going to be like.
Exactly, yeah. We got Bossy Gaming on a lap. He's currently in 12th. He's in sector 2 at the moment. He's about to come past as he actually invalidates. Oh, fortunate there for Bossy Gaming. What about Yeast? Yeast comes into the pits. Got Divine actually on a lap. Is he on a lap? Yes, he is. He's 10th and a half from sector 1, but he gets a little bit of oversteer on that exit, so he might lose a little bit of time as he comes down the main opportunistic overtaking straight, and now hard on the brakes for the left, right, left chicane kind of thing. It's getting a little bit cloudy, but I don't think we'll get any rain for this qualifying session, but of course we'll get some in the race. As he comes through the sector 2 time now, he's about a 10th and a half again, and as he goes through the fast right-hander, and now this is probably the most difficult sector of the track. You need to get this spot on to basically improve a lot of time. This way you'll rather lose time or gain all the time. But at the moment it's been very clean so far from our Divine in sector 3 as he comes around the penultimate corner, 4th gear down to now 2nd gear, short shift to 3rd and maybe 4th, but he doesn't do that, and now he's got this straight to complete. Will he improve? Yes, he does. He goes up to P4 with a 29.519.
So our friend in the chat, Carrot, says that the reason he's happy that he has joined GP2 is because he gets a free 20 pounds every week. So has the payouts already started? Because I want my 20 pounds. I don't know what that converts over to as far as American is concerned, but at this point, I don't care if it's free.
I haven't received it yet from last week, so I'm still waiting, Smithy. As I think he's actually might have blocked Toincoin a bit. I think Toincoin's had to abandon his lap, but he still has time to do another lap. He's still got 1 minute and 20. It might actually be close for him to actually get around the track and do another lap. Close, but I think he'll get it just in time. As the Ferrari of X Gamer started his lap as well. Got an Aston Martin. Here's Bossy Gaming. Yep. Bossy Gaming about improve. Aston Martin on the lap.
And you know, we were talking about how Morris has really kind of not achieved the success that we expected from him last season, with the exception of today, of course, because he is looking very good so far. But X-Gamer is pretty much on the other end of that spectrum, to where he has improved massively. He did get some points finishes last season. He got a podium or two, but ultimately it was not X-Gamer's season, and a lot of times we were sitting there and we were thinking, you know, when is he going to be able to show results? And sure enough, the new season comes along, and he shows results right out of the gate. He literally wins the first race that he runs.
Yeah, he just comes out of nowhere, and now he's got 2 wins on the bounce. Potential pole position here now. He's actually improved by 10th and a half. But yeah, back to season 8 when I was in GP2, he was only really battling for podium finishes, really, and not really for the championship. But now he's actually fighting for a championship this season, which he'll be very pleased about as he comes through the final corner. This might be pole for him. It looks a very clean sector 3. He might improve by about 2/10, and he's going to go pole with a 29.1. 10th to nearly about 10th quicker than Morris. We've got Mauser. He's also actually 2/10 up, so Mauser can nick the pole from X Gamer if he gets sector 3 right.
We'll run on board Mauser and see what he's going to do. Oh, that was close. I thought that was going to be an invalidation there, but he cut it perfectly. He knows the track limits around this track pretty much better than the back of his hand. Going around the final corner now, down the straightaway, going to open up that DRS, and Mauser, when he crosses the line, it's going to be no improvement. Oh, there is an improvement, a 129.122. Just beating his teammate and just behind X Gamer.
That's close between them two, X Gamer and Mauser. I knew it was going to be close between them two when he hit the Sector 2 Delta time. But we've got Yeast next up to cross the line. P11. And he goes up to P9. 29.5 for him. Crowhawk hasn't validated, so he will not be improving. Frederick's invalidated. Calvin will be the last one to complete a lap, and he goes up to P16. A massive crash behind Crowhawk there. But yeah, that is it.
So what you see is what you get. X Gamer on the pole a week after winning his home Grand Prix. Mauser in second, third is to Jonas, and Morris looking pretty good with a fourth place starting position. Of course, this was a dry track. These were dry conditions, dry were the tires. It is going to be a wet race, maybe the whole race, maybe part of the race, but definitely in some of the race. We're going to see rain falling from the sky. It's going to be those wet weather tires. That track's going to be a lot different and very slick, but your official starting lineup for the Speed Force Racing GP2 Series French Grand Prix is X Gamer on the pole with Mauser in second, to Jonas in third, Morris in fourth, Linkbell in fifth, Mamba in sixth, Odd Ivan in seventh, eighth is Toincoin, 9 is Yeast, Tom Goproff in 10th, Crowhawk in 11th, Rogue Smithy in 12th, 13th is Frederick, Elixir Tarek in 14th, 15th is Bossy Gaming, Calvin Racing in 16th, KXI in 17th, 18th is Son of Fubar, Train Game Wow in 19th, and Pim, who unfortunately the last three not able to set a time, in the 20th position. And it is a full grid today for what will be a wet French Grand Prix, and it is time to get our top 3 predictions in.
X Gamer winner to Mauser second, to Jonas third.
I'm gonna have to go in any order. X Gamer to Jonas, and I'm going to throw a bone to Morris here.
Oh. His podium will come. Morris's podium will come. But I don't think it will be today. You think it will be today.
Hey, we'll just have to find out. We still don't know how long this rain is going to last, but it does look like it is going to be, if I had to guess, an intermediate tire start. Yeah. Not a lot of puddles in the pit lane, so likely will be starting on intermediate tires. Of course, Mansell, I, last season, in another league, got the pleasure to commentate on a wet race that was run on dry tires. So tell me how that works out.
Oh, yeah. Basically, it's between the switch between inters and dries, but dries just perform that tiny little bit better than the inters. But I've had a league race like that before. I haven't commentated, I've actually raced one where that's happened, and pretty much everyone, end of lap 1 came into winters, and I think they were struggling, and basically it just stayed like that conditions for the rest of the race. And you know what? I think it's slick tyres. They look slick tyres to me. They are! They're soft tyres.
I was having a little bit of flashbacks from that race, so I was thinking, oh boy, it looks like it's not really raining that hard, and sure enough, it wasn't. Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to be starting on dry tyres on a wet track. I can't remember the last time this has actually happened to me, seeing this. It's definitely been about a season and a half in the SFR that has. Yeah, let's see how these guys can cope on a wet track on dry tyres.
And the big question is it going to be a race to where the majority is run on the dry tires, or are we going to see a lot of drivers come to the pits in the first couple of laps and switch to the intermediates? Because, you know, you would think the answer would be easy. If it's raining, go to the intermediates. If it's not, go to the dry tire. But it's not always that simple, because it might just be raining easy enough to where, like you said, those dry tires just perform a little bit better.
Bossy Gaming's on the medium tyres, and also when it is like this, the best tyre to run on is the soft tyres because they work a lot better in cooler conditions. So if you're on the hard tyres, we'll have no grip. Same with the mediums, we'll have no grip. Like Boxy Gaming's showing right now, he's got no grip in these conditions. So he's already got caught up here on a formation lap. I knew that because Italian GP1 last season, like this, it was inters and went straight to dry tyres. It was like this, went to soft tyres, so now it's just gaining so much time to everyone else. So yeah, soft tyres are definitely the tyres to go when it's conditions like this.
Well, I guess we're going to have to find out at the end of 27 laps how this is going to go. Of course, you mentioned Bossy Gaming, the only driver on medium tires, going to be at a big disadvantage. But if somehow, some way, it were to dry up early on, he might actually be at a better advantage than the rest of the field. As you said, under normal conditions, it is a medium to hard strategy most of the time. The soft tire, of course, just a qualifying tire around here. So as the drivers find their appropriate positions on the grid, we're about to find out just what's going to happen.
Also, these guys have to go onto the mediums at some point if it stays like this as well, but they might just come on for like one lap and then go straight back onto softs. We might see some of the people doing that. But no.
So the driver's just waiting, and they are ready to go. And you hear those engines revving, you hear those itchy pedal feet. The driver's watching the lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights in the air. No red lights. We are green for the Speed Force Racing GP2 Series French Grand Prix. Mauser gets a good start on the inside line. Will he be able to get around the Ferrari of X-Gamer? Yes, he does. The Alpine of Jonas, though, trying to follow him through. He didn't, but the Haas did not get by X-Gamer into turn number 1, but out of turn number 2, he does clear him just enough. A little bit of a slide, though, allows X-Gamer to fight back on the inside. A side-by-side battle up front between the Haas and the Ferrari. X-Gamer on the outside line uses that momentum, uses the racing line, and he gets around as we now have a spinner in the back. That is the Aston Martin of Langfell. He is dropping back like a rock now. Cannot get back into the track at the moment. And meanwhile, we got Jonas right on the back of these two leaders here, trying to get around the Haas of Mauser. Morris, the Haas, in 4th place, far back behind this battle. It's really just a 3-car battle for the lead at the moment as we get down the end of one of the longest straightaways in Formula 1. The Alpine looking on the inside of Morris. Is there going to be contact? No, there's not. They get around nice and clean, Mauser, but Mauser is going to stay ahead in 2nd.
Yeah, both Aston Martins in trouble. One of the Aston Martins spun and the other one has got no front wing. I think Frederick's got no front wing. No, it's the other Mercedes of Frederick. He's got no front wing.
And look at how Jonas in the Alpine was wiggling just through that corner.
Massive crash with Mamba on the fast right-hander. Obviously, he's got to kind of have to lift off a bit, but he obviously hasn't lifted off, and he's collided with the wall. He's got damage, but he still continues in the race.
So back to the battle for 3rd position here. Morris really creeping up onto Jonas here, looking for a little bit of a hole to squeeze in there and get by that Alpine car. Jonas is having trouble with grip. Of course, I'm sure that most of these drivers are, but Jonas especially, we see that car wiggling a lot in the corners. X-Gamer runs the fastest lap for the first lap, a 1:47. So let's see how he fares with the rest of the race, as still Morris is right on the heels of Jonas.
X-Game has gone wide. X-Game has gone wide. It might give Mouse a little bit of a chance to get past, but he doesn't. X-Gamer might have got a warning for going wide at turn 2 as well, but it does pull Mouse a little bit closer to X-Gamer and might possibly get him down this straight. But let's see now as they come down the straight now. 5 tenths difference. I don't think he will. I think he'll just stay behind X-Gamer for now. These guys now starting to get into a pattern now and get settled into this race.
And it looks like we already have a driver taking a gamble on the intermediate tires. Elixir Tarek has decided to go on the intermediates, the only driver to do so. So we will monitor his performance and see what happens. But it's looking like a lot of drivers decided to make a pit stop that time. But he was the only one to go on the wet weather tires, or intermediates rather, the green compound. So we'll see if he is going to be able to improve his position. Or if he's
Roadsmith, he spun. He's done exactly the same as Mamba. But he hasn't got any damage, so he can carry on.
He's got to get the car rolling first, and he does. He's back out on track, and now Crowhawk, he is out of the session. He looks like he has crashed out in the second sector. We are now under a virtual safety car. Could this be upgraded to a full safety car? And the big question is, will the drivers take this opportunity to make a pit stop, and for what compound tire if they do?
Senna Furbar's coming in. He's going onto the inters. I don't think he has damage, so it looks like he will be going onto the inters. I don't think we're going to get the transition where the inters are going to perform better. I think it's going to be like this for probably the rest of the race. Actually, no, he goes onto the medium tyres and actually gets a new front wing as well, so he does have damage.
So the virtual safety car does allow these drivers an opportunity to pit without losing as much position as maybe they would have. So Son of Fubar, definitely a little bit of a saving grace there with this VSC. However, with it not being upgraded to a full safety car, it does not give him the opportunity to bunch up to the rest of the field. So he's still got a lot of work to do unless another safety car comes out within the next about 24 laps that we have left in the race.
Yeah. And as expected, as I did say, Bossy Gaming was going to struggle, and he is struggling. He's only ahead of the guys behind him just because they have pitted, and just because medium tyres are medium tyres in wet conditions, they're not performing well, and he's not getting along with them at the moment.
However, Bossy Gaming with 2 laps on those medium tyres, it would stand to reason that maybe he'll do slightly better than the guys behind him on medium tyres, simply because he's been able to get some heat into them.
That right-hander is giving these drivers massive pain as Jonas nearly loses it on the fast right-handers. Now this gives Morris a chance to go down the inside of Jonas, side by side at the moment. Jonas gets a better exit and keeps up P3 at the moment.
Thought Morris was going to have it there. Of course, this is allowing Odd Ivan here in the AlphaTauri, as we ride on board with him, an opportunity to stick his hat into this ring and try to go for a battle here for the top 3 position. Of course, Odd Ivan, he joined very late last season in GP2. He won the Mexican Grand Prix, and I think we expected a lot more results from him this season than what we've seen. Not that he hasn't had some points finishes, but we maybe expected a win at this point.
Yeah, I did watch the end of GP2, and Odd Ivan looked very strong, and yeah, he's not really performing as we thought he would be this season. We thought he would be up there most of the time, but he's kind of with Morris at the moment, I would say.
Well, he's with Morris in more ways than one. He's right behind Morris on track, of course, so it does work out. But I know what you were saying, Mansell, as Morris is still having trouble to getting around to Jonas in that Alpine. This is allowing the leaders of X Gamer and Mauser to pull away, or at least X Gamer mainly, because Jonas is creeping up on Mauser. But the problem is you said that right-hander that's coming up here will ride on board with Jonas, because I suspect he's going to get a little bit loose, and we're going to see him dance with that wheel. But that is really what is holding him back from chasing down X Gamer.
The track does look like it is drying up a bit, you know. It doesn't look as wet as it did anymore, so it does look like the track is improving.
Yeah, in the rain, it looks like it has let off. You can see it's really just a light drizzle there, but it's still giving to Jonas a little bit of an issue. You saw him move the wheel around a lot there, trying to hang on to that car. To Jonas, of course, there is a reason he is leading the point standings going into this race. He knows what he needs to do, and he knows how to handle this car, and he is proving it today in these very wet and very surreal conditions.
Yep, and I've also been looking at Elixir Turek's pace at the moment, and he's not gaining on the Son of Verbar. Now it's completely stopped raining, so it's definitely dry conditions now.
And the battle for third place is starting to heat up just behind Jonas, or actually the battle for second place rather behind Mauser, because we have, guess what, a chugga-chugga-choo-choo train for the second position. Mauser to Jonas, Morris, Odd Ivan, Yeast even close enough to say that he's in this battle.
Even
and then you
Toyn
got...
and Pim. Yeah, Toyn and Pim has also just caught up to this battle as well, so they're also in the battle for P2.
Now let's take a look at Pim. He did not set a time in qualifying. He started dead last, P20 in a 20-car field, and he's already found himself in the 8th position after 5 laps. Now granted, he had a little bit of help. There was some spins, there was some wrecks, there was some drivers making pit stops, but he still found his way into a top 10 position and is fighting for position.
Jonas is going around the outside of Mauser. but Mauser has the inside line, so he, of course, the track will be shorter, a little bit shorter for him. Mauser keeps the P2, but he goes a little bit wide. He's going to give to Jonas a little bit of a chance. He has a look, but he backs out of it. But Mauser still keeps the P2. Which also helps Morris and Oddivine. Oddivine is very close to Morris's gearbox, but doesn't make any moves. Mauser now comes into the pits. Told you these soft tyres don't last long. He's coming straight into the pits and probably onto the hard tyres, maybe to the end if hard tyres can get to the end.
I'd say they can get to the end. It's lap 6 of 27, so that would be about 20 laps on those hard tires. As Pim has ran the fastest lap, and he's actually in a battle with Yeast, trying to go around the Red Bull of Yeast, and Yeast is not going to take too kindly to that. Pim. And now look at Toincoin. He goes around Pim.
I think I got a little bit mixed up there. Pim is Pim going around the outside of Toincoin.
There's too many blue cars in the field this season. We have the Alpine, we have the Williams, we have the Red Bull.
Red Bull, yeah.
I mean, we have budget caps in Formula One. We have limits to how many drivers you can have. Why can't we have limits on colors too? There's more colors than blue.
Yeah, fair point. As Jonas is now caught up to X Gamer. I thought X Gamer was pretty much pulling away, but now these two are now back with each other. A bit like the Max Verstappen Lewis Hamilton rivalry we had in 2021 between these two at the moment. That's the way it's going at the moment. Now, how many more times can we say at the moment? But anyways.
But it is at the moment, though. That's the thing, Mansell. Is these things can change in an instant for these drivers, and we've seen it happen more than once. So at the moment is probably the most realistic and appropriate phrase in all of motorsports, because things can just change so quickly. But now that it's dried up, these soft tires are showing their age. As we said, these are mainly qualifying tires. Oh, and look at the Alpine up to Jonas, looking underneath X Gamer in battle for the lead, and he makes the move. Stick to Jonas, move him up into first place, and he spins from the lead. So now he is down and out. And X Gamer in second place. Morris trying to battle for the lead. Morris has taken the lead from X Gamer. He's cleared the Ferrari. So move Morris up into first place.
Divine's having a look at X Gamer. X Gamer leaves him in the pit and leaves him in the space, but of course X Gamer gets a better exit. X Gamer not having a great time at the moment, and now Frederick's retired. He's lost it in a right-hander. It's going to be virtual, but not going to be a full safety car at the moment. Again, at the moment.
But still, we saw how long that virtual safety car lasted last time. I feel like it was close to, if not a full lap, that the virtual safety car lasted. So this could give our leaders an opportunity to dive down into the pits and get a set of medium tires.
I think they will. I think you are right. I think they should be pitting right now. But to Jonas, he's gone down to P5. He didn't lose too much time as I thought he would expect. I thought he'd be losing about 10 to 15 seconds, but no, he's coped well with that spin and got straight back onto the track pretty much as soon as he could. So good kind of recovery from that spin. He's just got to hope now that he can try and catch up to the top four once again. So Jonas and Toincoin, they might actually double stack. As of course they're both from the same team. As Toincoin. Oh, Divine staying out actually.
Into Jonas.
X Gamer gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So this has put Morris for the win for him big time. He could actually win this race today, depending on safety cars and all that. He's going to get his teammate of Mauser, I believe, because of the virtual safety car. I might actually be really close to Mauser and Morris. We're having a look at Mauser now. Will he get his teammate of Morris? No, he will not. Quite easily as well, he's not going to get in.
And if memory serves me correctly, Morris does run fairly well around the Paul Ricard circuit. If I'm remembering correctly from last season, I feel like he did have some moments of brilliance around this circuit. And of course, getting very close to a pole position today, it shows that Morris and this track certainly do agree with one another. He's just got to get the job done and put a full race together.
I do have the season 9 standings somewhere on my phone. No, I can see where he finished last season.
So Odd Ivan and Jonas both stayed out that time, so they are your leaders with Morris in third, X-Gamer in fourth, and the fifth place is going to belong to Morris's teammate, the Haas of Mauser. Of course, Toy Coin in 6th, 7th is Yeast, Bossy Gaming in 8th, 9th is Pim, Tom GoPro. Your top 10 with Calvin, KXI, Tranking Wow, Son of Bar, Rose Smithy, Langfell, Elixir Tarek, and Mamba. The rest of the field, 2 DNFs, TNR Frederick and Crowhawk in 19th and 20th, respectively, and unfortunately for them. Better luck next time, hopefully, for their sake. But still a full car field that started today, and that says something, Manson.
Yeah, very clean so far from the GP2 boys. Just had a look as well at where Morris finished last season in Season 9, and he finished P3 last season.
And that's where he's running now, so he's looking to do 2 spots better, if at all possible. And theoretically speaking, virtually, he is the leader because Odd Ivan and Jonas do need to pit. So once they pit, as long as he stays where he is, he will inherit the lead from them. Now, they might have a little bit of an added benefit in their favor of fresher medium tires. The difference will be small, but sometimes that's all you need, as we see Pim picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Let's go back and take a look at Toin Coin in the Alpine. He's slowly creeping up on the Haas of Mauser, running in the 5th position there. And it's really one of the few battles that we have going on, and a train is starting to form actually behind Mauser, which, once again, that's pretty much the story that it was earlier, except instead of the 2nd position, it's now for the 5th position. Toin Coin, though, in his debut race, he has went on the hard compound tire that time, so he can definitely make it to the end of this race. But I'm starting to wonder if maybe those hard tires are going to come in, and if Toin Coin is going to be able to make his way to the front, because so far he looks like he is faster than Mauser, and Mauser is on 3-lap-old mediums.
Yep, something I haven't really spoken about today is Train Game Well. He currently sits P3 in the standings, and he's currently in P14, battling with Senna Furbar. I think he was like this last week, and he somehow has still got into the top 10 last week, so we'll see some very similar performance from him today. Now to Jonas and Odd Divine now stops, both in for the medium tyres. They're going to lose time because obviously they didn't put in the virtual safety car as X-Gamer and Morris did. So Morris still having great pace. He's pulling away from X-Gamer 2.5. Of course, X-Gamer's on the hard tyres, so he might not have to stop again, whereas Morris will probably most likely have to stop again. I don't think he'll be able to get to the end of this stage. Yeah, let's see how the battle gets on with pretty much the top, oh my god, top 9. I would say at the moment can actually, well,
oh, and we have the spinner. We got a spinner, Pim, and the Williams. He goes around. He was battling with Tom GoProf just ahead of that McLaren. Now the McLaren's ahead of him and quite a ways ahead of him. Pim going from P20 to P8 now to P12 on the grid. I can't read my numbers today.
Okay, so getting past Calvin down the inside. I'm going to push this Calvin off the track a bit there, but I'm sure it'll be very. Yeah, it was a fair move, I would say. As now KXI up to P10 and past Calvin.
Meanwhile, there's the Jonas on your screen as we go back to the battle with Tom GoProf and now Bossy Gaming. So Bossy Gaming having a good day so far, running in the 7th position in that Alfa Romeo, trying to hold off a charging McLaren of Tom GoProf. Right on board with our McLaren driver, see what he's able to do. And I love watching their steering inputs because not only does it give me, a few tips to try and learn from, but it's also just nice to see the different driving style that each driver has. Because if we had the capabilities that Liberty Media and Formula One has, as we see Tom GoProf going to the outside of Bossy Gaming, and it's going to be a side-by-side battle through turn number 1. Who's going to win out? There's contact, maybe. Bossy Gaming using the momentum on the outside. He will keep Tom GoProf behind him, at least for now, but Tom GoProf, he is not done yet. He's going to be looking for another move around that Alfa Romeo driver, and he's going to be looking for that move soon. He might get the opportunity at the end of the straightaway coming up. He's going to have to get a good exit out of this set of corners, though, and these are a very tricky set of corners.
Yeah, in that battle as well. Pim did spin again. Unfortunately, Tom, part of the game, and then Tom again. Tim, over to you.
And Bossy Gaming having to concede that position. Tom Goproff gets around him very quickly, I might add. So Tom Goproff with 5 laps on the
Sorry,
lead.
but Toincoin and Mauser. P3 and P4. Toincoin is going to have down the inside of Mauser, and he's again getting past Mauser as well. So Mauser losing 2 positions in pretty much one straight. So now Mauser moves down to P5 with Yeast and Toincoin going past him. Maybe even Oddivine might even have a look at him.
So it's a train forming behind Toincoin now, who may or may not pull away. Now that he's got semi-clean air ahead of him, I'm very curious to see what Toincoin is going to be able to do. We don't know anything about this driver. He is brand new in GP2 today. It is his first GP2 race, as you mentioned in qualifying. So your debut driver running in third.
Here comes Oddivine on Mauser. Having a look around the outside of turn 1, now the inside of turn 2. Now is a little bit of a better exit, but they're still side by side going down to turn 3. Oddivine has the inside line, gets the move done, up to P5 for Oddivine. So Miles seems to be struggling a little bit, maybe because he just doesn't have DRS, and he was at the front of this pack at the pretty much at the start of lap 11. Pierman's now retired in a bit late.
So I've been trying to get to Eric Yeast now, just ahead of him in that Red Bull. And, you know, it seems like drivers are really having a lot of trouble passing around here, which, and Pim is just DNF'd out of the session. Not sure what's happened to him, but we were bragging about him earlier. Then he had his spin, and now he's just out of the race entirely.
So tell you what, Toincoin does look quick. He was starting to pull away from Yeast a bit before the DRS came up. I might be catching up to X Gamer as well, but Toincoin, he's looking quick. He's on the hard tyres as well, so I think it's definitely a person to watch out for this season.
And you know, let's talk about Yeast here for a moment. He's having the race of his life after a while. Running in 4th place. Looking at the point standings, Yeast has had a season to forget. Going into today, he has 8 points on the board. Only 8 points out of 2 different races. He has had 1 fastest lap, that coming in Spain just a couple of weeks ago, but he didn't get a point for it because he did not finish in the top 10. And now he finds himself running in P4, better than he has finished all season long and battling for a podium.
Yeah, he wanted to try and keep this momentum going for the rest of the race. We're about halfway through now, so he just needs to keep himself calm and relax. I know he's in quite an intense battle at the moment, but if he just keeps his cool, he should be alright for the rest of the race. He's still got to make a pit stop, I do believe. So I think after that pit stop, that's when we'll finally see where he'll potentially finish in this race.
We're right on board with Odd Ivan for a couple more sectors and watch this battle ahead of him. And you know, we say battle, but again, it is still a DRS train, so it's going to be difficult for these drivers to overtake the guy ahead of him. And you know, that's just a given, especially around a circuit like Paul Ricard. You don't have a lot of passing zones, and the passing zones that you do have are DRS zones. So you get stuck in that train and you just can't go anywhere. It's almost like you're in a bubble and you're stuck. You can see everything around you, but you can't physically go where you need to go.
Yeah, quite annoying when you're in a DRS train like this. Like you said, you just can't do anything. You just have to stay patient and but if you do get a chance, try and take the chance if you can. As Oddivine might now get that chance against Yeast. They had to back out of Yeast, didn't really give him any space, but of course it was Yeast. Yeast corner. Quite hard to say that, but it was his corner, I would say. I had to back out of it.
Yeah, that was a bit of a block, a little aggressive, but definitely not unwarranted and certainly not malicious. You know, that was just Yeast defending a position there, and you know, no harm, no foul. There was no contact, and Odd Ivan still has a front wing. Yeast still has a car on track, so it's all good.
Yeah, Oddivine now gets a chance once again, side by side, going into the left hand corner, but Yeast gets is actually defending really well at the moment against Oddivine. Oddivine is a very quick driver. Yeast is doing a very good job so far in this race. as he might even get a chance to get his Toin Coin. He closed up a lot of time in that fast right-hander. He might have been even a little bit of BRS going through that right-hander. Now Alderweireld again, right on the back of it. He's going to try and go around down the inside. There's contact made between the two, and Alderweireld's spun. I think he had to back out of that. Racing incident for me.
Yeah, that was definitely a racing incident as far as I'm concerned. Of course, I'm not a steward, so if it is reported to the stewards, there may or may not be differing opinions as we see Jonas going around Mauser just out of the final corner. But to me, it looked like, Odd Ivan, there was a gap left by Yeast, and he decided to fill that gap. It's not a corner that you would traditionally, as Yeast gets a 3-second time penalty, but it's not a corner that you would traditionally make a move at. However, the door was open, and Odd Ivan was able to squeeze in there. Then he realized he had to back out. He tried to concede the position. There was just a small amount of contact, and he spun.
Yeah, that's it. And now to Jonas. He's showing some excellent pace so far. Of course, he is a championship leader after all. And now he's on the back of Yeast. He was around about P10 the last time I saw him. Now he's just jumped up to P5, and now he's going to get the DRS. Yeast with no DRS gets the overtake done. And now it's P4 to Jonas. Of course, he had to stay out in that virtual safety car because the team at Toingon stopped instead. So that's why he lost all that time, and now he pretty much gained all that time back. And of course, he had that early spin, but now he moved back up to P4. Now looking on to his teammate.
And the gap was about 4 seconds during that virtual safety car period. So theoretically, Toincoin and Jonas could have double stacked, and it worked out for the both of them. However, I'm almost wondering if maybe Jonas just wanted to extend his first stint a little bit and put a little bit more laps on those soft tires, maybe hoping that he could have slightly fresher tires at the end of this stage. And we see it is working for him now. Morris has 7 laps on his medium tires. Yeast has 8 laps on his medium tires. Jonas has 5, and he is making a lot of gains through the pack. Now, granted, Jonas is our points leader. He is very fast this season, but even still, it's looking good.
Mauser and Yeast is now side by side. Was side by side. Yeast, not Yeast, sorry. Mauser gets past Yeast. Mauser now up to P5. Yeast down to P6.
So Haas pretty much having the day of the season for them, P1 and P5 respectively, with Morris and Mauser. And of course Alpine having a good day at their home Grand Prix with Toincoin and Jonas running in 3rd and 4th. The Ferraris though, X-Gamers in 2nd while Rogue Smithy's in 14th. Could be a partial day to forget for Ferrari at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's looking good so far for Rogue Smithy. He hasn't finished a race so far this season, and he's still in this race, so I think that will be an achievement for him, to be fair, for Rogue Smithy, if he can actually complete a race today. So I think we'll take that if he can actually finish the race.
So riding him over to Jonas now, and I'm wondering what these two teammates are going to do. I'm wondering if they're even in contact with one another, because that's one thing that we've talked about in the past, Mansell, that I've mentioned doesn't make sense to me, is when two teammates are not in contact with one another, because it can only benefit both drivers if you are in a party with your teammate, in communication with them, and working on strategy together. Formula One, there's pretty much a environment of racing your teammate and fighting your teammate, but I believe that two teammates should work together first and then race each other once they get position. Yep,
Jonas should get Toincoin if there isn't team orders anyway. He is on the quicker tyre for now. He might be starting to lose a bit of grip now, but yeah, he might be getting a little bit blocked by his teammate, to be fair. I don't think there might be any team orders. I might not even be in contact with each other. But yeah, I think Jonas should get him down this main DRS straight now. As it's coming up to now. Toincoin will, of course, not get any DRS, but Jonas will. Here comes Jonas. Yeah, there we go. Get some move done. Easy.
Now let's see if Toincoin is able to fight back or not. Of course, Jonas on the medium tires, and now's about the time when those medium tires would start to come to life. While Toincoin's on the hard tires, he's going to have to probably wait another lap or two at least before those hard tires really start to heat up and get nice and grippy. But if you're getting a little bit of deja vu about what you're seeing on your screen, it's probably because on Sunday we saw the very same thing between Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso.
Yes. Yep. They were Alpines, not racing points. of course, their pink cars. Take me back to the Racing Point days of their pink cars. But they now should be going back to a blue livery from the Australian Grand Prix onwards.
And I've always made fun of Aston Martin for having so many names, so I've always called them the Force Racing Aston Martin Point Canadian Motorsports Team, or whatever mouthful that I can come up with at the time. But maybe I should just start making fun of the BWT sponsor, all in jest, of course, just because they've sponsored so many teams and there's been so many different cars that their logo has been on, and it's just it's funny how they seem to jump teams. But you know, that pink color is really symbolic of their brand. So I understand why they maybe wanted to jump ship so that they could have a little bit more pink on the car. Because at the end of the day, Aston Martin's protecting their brand, and BWT is protecting their brand as well. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't really get much sponsor from the Aston. Oh, Calvin! I was on board with Calvin. Calvin nearly lost it. Yeah, they didn't really get much sponsorship from Aston Martin last season in 2021. You don't really saw their name like once on their car. But now they're fully pink, pretty much. Well, they were more pink on the Alpine for BWT. As there's actually a little battle going on between KXI and Calvin. I don't know if you're with them, but there's a great little battle between these two at the moment.
Yeah, KXI just got around Calvin. Now Calvin going back on the offensive to try to get around that AlphaTauri driver. Might have an opportunity. He gets close to him. Can't quite find a way around him just yet. KXI leaving the door open on the inside there a little bit. Of course, that door closed very quickly, and Calvin knew that. Now here was where we saw a little bit of an issue a few laps ago. But no issue there between these two drivers. KXI and Calvin racing nice and clean through this set of corners. But I think that Calvin's sizing him up for a move into turn number 1. This is a DRS zone, so we'll see if this Mercedes is going to be able to get a better exit off of the corner. He's got the slipstream, he's got the DRS, and now he has got the position almost in his hands. Does he clear him into turn number 1? Yes, he does. Move Calvin up into P7. KXI down to P8.
Yeah, I don't think this battle will be over because they've been battling for pole position for the last 7 odd laps. I've been looking at the leaderboard, and them two have keep on switching positions. So yeah, this battle is not over just yet. I don't think.
So Calvin
as Jonas, as Toyn Coin and Jonas is now caught up to X Game, and they're now within a second of him. So let's keep an eye on that as well.
And whether they planned it or not, I think that the Alpine successfully worked together to get close to X Gamer. And who was that going wide? What is happening up there?
Mamba's getting lapped. That's what it is. Mamba's having a horrid race. He's now getting lapped by Jonas, Toyngoin, and X Gamer now. And he gets a 10-second penalty as well for exceeding track limits.
And Mamba goes into the pits. I wonder if that's going to be a retirement. He sped in the pit lane. That is definitely going to be a retirement from the Red Bull driver.
Yeah,
so while Yeast has had a decent day, Mamba, not so much.
Yeah, definitely. Day to forget for Mamba. Once you get lapped, that's pretty much it. That's your race over. If you can't overtake, you can't unlap yourself in a safety car or anything like that. So, yeah, not really a surprise there for Mamba as he retires. So it's very unfortunate there. There's a bad day in the office for Mamba. On to next week, it's all hungry for him.
So the battle heating up for a second here with X Gamer and Jonas. Jonas taking a slightly tighter line, and I do mean very slightly tighter line through that corner than what X Gamer was able to do or decided to do, but it worked out for Jonas as he is now going underneath the Ferrari. Will he get the move done? Yes, he does. Move him up into second place to Jonas, with third being X Gamer, Toyncoin in fourth. Now Toyncoin and X Gamer, they're on the same age lap tires. However, look at the penalties. 5 seconds for X Gamer and no seconds for Toyncoin. So Toyncoin still keeping it nice and clean. X Gamer, of course, you mentioned that 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Yeah. That's going to come back to bite him in the end.
Yeah, they will. I don't know if they'll actually stay out now. I wonder if the medium tyres will of all the medium tyre runners at the moment, they might actually stay out and try and go to the end. Not 100% sure on that yet. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they do. So if they do, they're going to lose a lot of grip, well, a lot of time towards the end. But yeah, it's going to be close between the hard tyres and the medium tyres at the end. I think X Gamer will come back towards the end.
So Morris to Jonas, X-Gamer, your top 3 at the moment. Here's a look at Morris just to give him a little bit of love. He's 2.1 seconds ahead of our second place driver up to Jonas, who you see on your screen now, who is half a second ahead of X-Gamer, who is half a second ahead up to Jonas's teammate of Toincoin. And it is a 3-car battle for the second position. It's lap 21 of 27. We're getting down to the very end of this race, and it's went by pretty quick, Mansell.
Yeah, it's been a really good race. We have no safety cars at all this race so far. Touch wood. Luckily, my desk is made of wood, so yeah, it's been a very great and clean race for the GP2 guys.
So we're right on board with Toincoin now and see if he's able to gain on X-Gamer a little bit. Now's about the time that I expect those hard tires to really start to be grippy and feel nice and smooth, but it's looking like the medium tire has certainly been the way to go. Of course, the rain certainly helped these medium tire runners. As you said, the preferred strategy would usually be a medium to hard strategy, ideally, but the soft tire being used as a qualifying tire under normal circumstances and today as well. But I think that the drivers expected the rain to maybe last a little bit longer and the intermediates to actually be viable, which we saw were not viable at any point during this race.
Yeah, X-Gamer is pretty much just staying with to Jonas. This is what X-Gamer needs to do, really, is to keep within the DRS up to Jonas, because Jonas is actually catching up to Morris as well, which also helps to get X-Gamer to catch him up as well. So this is really what X-Gamer and Qualifying really needs to do, is just keep it to Jonas, gets that DRS, that extra, I think it's 14 kilometers, or something like that, down straight, which is quite a massive difference in Formula 1 terms anyway. And that's what X-Gamer's doing right now. The DRS. So Jonas actually nearly in that second now of Morris. So Morris now under threat. We've got a safety car.
And Rogue Smithy gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Not sure what the safety car was for, though.
I think it's for Elixir to wreck. It might have been for Elixir to wreck by the looks of things. He's fast right hand up. I don't know what's happened there. He's right off the track. How? Okay, I don't have a clue what's happened to Elixir to wreck there.
So it's looking like there is going to be some disagreements among a couple of drivers after this race, as we've just
drive-through penalty for Tom Koproff.
Speeding under the safety car, Tom Koproff has a drive-through penalty. While I believe it is Elixir Correct that is talking to us.
No, Yeast. He's got a, he hasn't got any front wing. So that might also be the cause of a safety car. He's got no front wing either.
Well, someone is accusing Rogue Smithy of taking them out in the chat. So not sure if that is Yeast, not sure if that is Elixir Correct. But nonetheless, it's seeming like at least one driver is not too happy with our Ferrari.
Coin stayed out.
Morris to Jonas on the soft tire. Does Mauser go on the soft tire as well? Yes, they do. Most of them go onto the soft tire. Coin is going to stay out on those old hard tires. As you said, this is going to be a crazy last few laps. Will Toincoin be able to hold off these soft tire runners? I mean, that's the big question here. Theoretically, you wouldn't think that he could, but if he can get a good enough start, then he might just be able to hang on if, and this is a big if, to Jonas is able to take the battle to Morris and they get into a side-by-side situation.
So I got a confirmation by Toincoin. What's going on with Rogue Smithy? Come on, Rogue Smithy. You know you can't overtake under yellow flags. Toincoin said that he can't pit because of his safety car pitted. His safety car pitted, his teammate pitted. That's why he didn't come into the pits.
Well, he can't really come into the pits now. He'll lose probably more positions than what he originally had. So, the best thing he can do for his race is to stay out.
Yeah, as Rogue Smithy, he just wants to get past Toincoin to unlap himself, but he just can't do it. The game will not let you to do that. He'll have to stay behind Toincoin, unfortunately. But in a way, it does help Toincoin that he's got a lapped car. behind him, because then it gives him a little bit more of space between himself and Morris. But I'm sure Morris will probably catch up to him pretty soon.
And that might be, and like you said, that might be the best thing for Toy Coin is having Rogue Smithy just behind him there. I think it is a bit unfortunate that you can't unlap yourself, especially when in the real life Formula One you are allowed to do so. But this is the rules that we have not set out, and we have not put them in place. We're just a victim of these rules, and Rogue Smithy is that victim today. But I expect us to go back green here fairly soon, as most of the cars have caught the safety car queue, and I expect the rest of them to catch this time.
Retired in pits. Tom Cross retired in pits. I don't know why, but that's what he's done.
So Tom Goproff, a bad day, going to pretty much ending his day, a worse day for that McLaren driver. So he will finish in the 15th position. X-Gamer,
he of course pitted and was able to get rid of that 5-second penalty as well. So that's a bit of a bonus for him, that he was able to get rid of that 5 seconds. So he won't really drop right down. He's lost a couple of positions, but not as many as you think.
Well, it's only a bonus if he finishes on the podium, though.
Yeah, true point. Very true.
Because where he was running it, if the race had ended before the safety car, then he would have dropped likely outside of the podium positions. Now that time penalty is not hanging over his head, which of course is good, but unless he can get into the top 3 as he was running, then it pretty much just cancels each other out.
Yeah. As Rogue Smithy has now given up trying to unlap himself and decided to let everyone go past instead. So now that means Morris is now right behind of Toy Coin.
So Toy Coin, Morris to Jonas, your top 3, with Mauser and Odd Ivan, your top 5, X-Gamer, Calvin, KXI, Bossy Gaming, and Yeast, your top 10, with Train Game Wow, Son of Fubar, Langfell, and Rogue Smithy. The remainder of the field left running. Of course, Tom Goproff retiring under the safety car conditions in the pits. He will finish in 15th in this race, and that means that we have got a whopping 6 drivers out of a 20-car field who have DNF'd from the race, unfortunately for them, but we still have 14 remaining for what looks to be a 3-lap shootout.
Yeah. Top 4 are both the Haas drivers and the Alpine drivers. So it's Haas versus Alpine for this restart. Yeah. So my prediction was Mauser to Jonas on X-Gamer on the podium. Yeah, still possibly going to happen. And for you as well, you said Morris to Jonas on X-Gamer. So your prediction is looking better than mine at the moment.
And meanwhile, Rogue Smithy has retired in the pit, so he will not finish the race today either.
I think he should have just carried on just to get that race finish on the board, but...
Well, he told people he was going to pay everyone £20, right? If he didn't finish the race?
Yep.
So he's out. How much money? Like, how many people does he have to pay now?
That is 21 of us, since that's not including us. So it's 21 of us. Or 19 if it doesn't include us too.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it includes us too. But yeah, it's 21.
I think he should have said £1.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. Oh, and Morris just about hit the back of the Alpine of Toincoin, was able to get that car woed up just in time. Maybe it looked a little bit worse from the onboard than what it was for Morris, but...
yeah, I also forgot to mention, when I was teammates with Morris at the start of the season, he did mention that he has a problem with his wheel, and he can't actually warm up his tyres as you would think. That's why he's been struggling at the safety car restarts, because apparently it messes up his steering wheel if he tries to warm up his tyres.
Really?
He is trying to do it now. Yeah.
What kind of problem and what kind of wheel does he have?
I don't know, but I think it messes up his calibration on the wheel. On his wheel, if he starts weaving very quickly.
Well, that's definitely not supposed to happen.
Yeah, he's looking at a new wheel. probably wants to get one pretty soon if there's going to be a safety car pretty much every race.
So if he has those kinds of problems with his wheel, imagine what he could do with one that works properly.
Yeah. Well, it might have been fixed now. You never know. Let's see if they have been fixed as the restart is about to get in the way.
So we'll ride on board with him, and we'll see what kind of start Toincoin's able to get. And Morris is not letting him out of his sights. He's pretty much doing a Max Verstappen, trying to go alongside of him. Oh, but he had to back out, and Toincoin win.
Oh, Mauser, he's gonna get a double move here. Is he? No, he backs out of it. But X-Gamer's there. X-Gamer had to kind of back out of it as well. The Jonas. Will he have a look at Morris? No. Hodivine and X-Gamer now going side by side. X-Gamer keeps B5.
And there's going to be no DRS for the rest of the race, so it's going to be raw pace from here on out. Toincoin leads over Morris, over to Jonas, over Mauser, over X-Gamer, your top five. Morris trying to make a move on Toincoin. Will he be able to do it at the end of the straightaway? He's going to have to use every bit of ERS that he can, but Toincoin has the benefit of the clean air ahead of him.
Jonas now on Morris. He's going to try and go around the outside. Oh, Morris nearly hits the back of Toincoin, but thankfully no damage. Didn't hit the back of him. He carries on. But again, still on the back of Toincoin. So Jonas is also having a look. He wants to get past him, wants to get that 1-2 finish for the team. And also, Morris also wants to try and get past Toincoin as soon as he can. Morris tries to get a switchback move on to Jonas. Hasn't really worked. Nearly going side by side. The Jonas hits the back of his teammate. He might lose a little bit more time. Morris goes wide. The Jonas now gets the move done on Toincoin. Not Toincoin, sorry, Morris, but now Morris is trying to come back to Jonas. So Jonas is now trying to go make it dive bomb on Toincoin. Now side by side between these two. This might give Morris a chance of getting both these two. He's going to get these two. He's 3 wide going down to turn 1. Who's going to lead after turn 1? It's going to be Morris. Is it? Morris is in the lead. Toincoin spins. Both Alpines are spun. That's their race over.
Morris and Mauser now 1 and 2 for the Haas team. X-Gamer in 3rd, Odd Ivan in 4th, Calvin Racing in 5th. It's a Haas 1-2, and it is the final lap of the French Grand Prix. X-Gamer battling hard with Odd Ivan. Odd Ivan trying to get into the podium spot. X-Gamer going wide. He's going to have to be very careful. Mauser, though, he has got a time penalty. He will lose the podium position at the end of this. So they are battling for 2nd right now. X-Gamer and Odd Ivan are, and they certainly know it. Odd Ivan going to try to get a move underneath of X-Gamer, but cannot quite get there. Cannot position himself right, so he's got to stay behind the Ferrari, at least for now. He might have one more small opportunity, but maybe it's what you see is what you're gonna get, except for Mauser. He will drop down. Morris, he's just got to make a few more corners, and he might be able to get his very first win in the GP2 series.
No, don't do this, Haas. Don't do this. Stay behind Mauser. I would stay behind him. He was having a look at Morris and his teammate. I'm sure these two are communicating. Mauser really having a look at Morris. That might have been race ending if he did that, but he gets away with it. Morris still keeps the lead. I thought he was actually going to overtake Morris then.
And Morris has struggled time and time again. He struggled all last season. He struggled this season. But now it's going to be Morris who wins the French Grand Prix for Haas. Mauser finishes in 2nd, but will drop back out of the podium. X-Gamer gets into 2nd. Odd Ivy gets into 3rd with a heated battle with X-Gamer. Calvin Racing finishes in 4th with Train Game Wow in 5th. Mauser dropping all the way to 6th with Son of Fubar in the 7th position. Toincoin, after a very promising debut and an unfortunate spin late in the race, finds himself in P8. That's why you have to stay in communication with your teammate. KXI in 9th, 10th is Langfell. Bossy Gaming in the 11th position. Morris just picked up his first win of the season, his first win in GP2, I believe, and that has been a long time coming.
Finally, he gets his win. After his last win was season 8, I do believe. I'll double check that now.
So Morris is going to be a very happy man today. It's Morris X Gamer and On Ivan, your top 3, and Morris has got that monkey off of his back. The monkey's gonna have to find a new tree to climb, but it won't be Haas, it won't be Morris, because he has just won today. Your official finishing order for the Speed Force Racing GP2 Series French Grand Prix is Morris in first, X Gamer in second, On Ivan in third, in what was a very heated last 2 laps. Calvin Racing in fourth, Train Game Wow in fifth, Mauser in sixth, seventh is Son of Fubar, Toincoin in eighth, KXI in ninth, 10th is Langfeld, Bossy Gaming in 11th, 12th is DeJonas, 13th is Yeast, Tom Goproff in 14th, 15th is Rogue Smithy, 16th is Elixir Tarek, Mamba in 17th, 18th is Pim, Frederick in 19th, and Crowhawk in the 20th position. We'll talk to our top 3 drivers of Morris, X Gamer, and Odd Ivan here in just a few moments' time. But Mansell, I think that has to rival a lot of SFR races for the best final lap.
Wow, the last 2 laps, it was a great race throughout. Those final 2 laps stand out for me. You got both Alpines and Morris fighting for first. I think Morris had to make that move to have any chance of winning this race, and he did make the move, and he wins the Grand Prix.
So just waiting to get Morris in here as well as X Gamer and Odd Ivan. A Haas, Ferrari, AlphaTauri 1-2-3 today. Almost a Haas 1-2. Almost an Alpine 1-2 in their home Grand Prix. Maybe it could have been a coulda, woulda, shoulda moment, but they went 3 wide with Morris into turn number 1, and Morris was the big winner there in more ways than one. Absolutely fantastic last lap, though. Odd Ivan says that his voice is cracked. He cannot be interviewed, but he is super happy. Thank you for the input there, Odd Ivan. Congratulations on your top 3 finish. So we'll talk to Morris and X Gamer if they decide to join. And I think that we definitely want to hear from Morris. And, you know, since you were his teammate, you were his race engineer, I'm going to let you take that one away.
Sorry, Tim, I wasn't listening. I was too busy looking at the GP2 chat, seeing if they were going to join. Say that again.
You're interviewing Morris because you were his teammate, you were his race engineer, and you know, I really want to see what kind of banter you two have together, especially after Morris getting his first GP2 win. Of course, just Morris is in here now. We are waiting on X Gamer. Then we will start with our interviews. Surprised we have
Morris. Welcome.
Hi, I'm just containing my excitement.
No, you don't have to contain anything. You can get as There we go. That's exactly what we love to hear. Don't ever contain your excitement for a win. You know me. I love excitement. I love emotion, and that's what we need to see here in Speed Force Racing. X Gamer, he may or may not decide to join. We'll talk to him if he does. But first things first, let's start with the interview of our first-time winner. But before we do, make sure that you've allowed your voice to be shared. If you don't know how to do that, go over to the party settings, click Always Allow, and let me know when you're ready. And Mansell has got some questions for you.
I'm ready.
All right, go ahead, Mansell.
All right. Hello, Morris. Glad to be speaking to you again. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a very strong race for you today, mate. Yeah, just tell us, how was your race today?
Good. I've had a bit of a change over the last week. I bought a new racing rig, and then my wheel couldn't mount onto it, so I'm actually back on a table chair and my old desk. So I've gone back to my first ever race setup in Speed Force Racing.
Okay.
And maybe I'm wearing a Speed Force Racing hoodie for the first time as well, so maybe that gave me good luck today, but I don't know. But the race was good. France has always been a track, I've told you before, it's probably my favourite track on the calendar. Loads of people have different opinions on it, but I love it. It's fast paced. I practiced for about an hour or so today in total, thinking, I've got some pace. But yeah, happy.
And tell us, that final lap between yourself and the 2 Alpines, it looked like you had to make that move, pretty much now or never, otherwise you weren't going to get that race win. Tell us that battle between the two Alpines at the final 2 laps.
Well,
how was that?
I don't want to go too far into it because obviously there's a lot of chat in the streets of us right now. One of the Alpines touring corner, I think he's a bit confused with who hit him, but I didn't feel any contact from my car. And Mauser, who was behind them in P4, didn't have any contact either. So from our point of view, the Alpines actually took each other out. Because basically I went up the inside, late braked like crazy, and those two squeezed each other. I don't know if they were talking in party or not. I'm going to assume that they were. But if they weren't, they came quite close together. But it's what it is. I mean, I didn't touch anyone, so yeah, I thought it was quite a clean move. But we'll see what other admins have to say on that report. I won't be involved in it. But yeah.
And it's your first win since we were teammates in season 8. Russian Grand Prix, I think it was the last time your last win.
Yeah.
How much does this win mean to you now?
A lot. I mean, last season I struggled. I was quick at the start of last season, dropped off like crazy. Start of this season, I didn't have a lot of pace. But I think since Spain, I had a strong race in Spain. Last week was pretty good. And then just suddenly today, just something clicked. I don't know, it just felt good. So hopefully I can carry the form on, because I want me and Mauser to contend for the constructors later on during the season, as he joined a bit later, and we're starting to get some points now. We finished P1 and 2, but if he didn't have his 3-second time penalty, it would have been 1 and 2, but it's what it is. But hoping we can challenge Alpine for the championship, and I will apologise to the 2 Alpine drivers if there was any contact, but I don't think there was. But yeah, happy.
And then you did also mention to me at the start of the season, you don't feel like you're a top field top runner anymore. After this win today, do you still think you're still like a midfield kind of pace GP2, or do you now think you're back at where you think you should belong, as back at the top where you should belong?
I don't think I'm at the top yet, because I think this win today was quite track dependent, because I just love this track.
Yeah.
I think if I can get a bit more consistency, I didn't get a penalty today. Last couple of races, my 3-second time penalties have cost me. So if I can just keep it clean, not have any warnings, look after my ERS, because that's one thing I did. I was so thankful for the safety car today on the last lap 22, because me and Mauser underfueled our cars because of the rain at the start, and then it dried up really quick, and then I was like minus 0.8 of fuel with like 5 laps remaining, and I was going to take those mediums to the end. That was my strategy. It was soft medium.
Did look like a lot of people were doing that.
I thought it was possible, and then the safety car came out. I sort of breathed a massive sigh of relief.
Yeah.
So then my fuel wasn't an issue, because but yeah, I'm happy. I can talk for days, so I'll say.
A final question from me. Next race is Hungary. What are your aims for Hungary?
Another podium. Hungary is another circuit I quite like. Overtaking is a little bit difficult around Hungary, so it'd be a strong qualifying session needed. But we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Very much indeed, Morris. Tim, back to you.
Well, Morris, congratulations on your first win here in GP2 this season. You have done a fantastic job today. That was a very entertaining battle. We thank you for putting that battle on for us, and I'm sure that our viewers thank you as well. But with that, this is all the time that we have today. But big thank you to our viewers for watching. Thank you to all the drivers that raced with us, and congratulations to our top 3 finishers. And until next time, good morning, good evening, good day, good night, wherever you are in the world. Have fun. And goodbye.